From Rockford's coalition of Latino leaders met with the Winnebago County Sheriff and State's Attorney, as well as Rockford's mayor and police chief in what they called productive discussions concerning federal immigration policies. The Latino leaders say that during the meeting, all officials emphasized their commitment to abiding by Illinois state laws, including the Illinois Trust Act, which prohibits local law enforcement to detain immigrants without a judicial warrant, and the Way Forward Act, which prohibits state and local governments from signing contracts with the federal government to detain immigrants. CLL member Rudy Valdez says with potential changes to the federal immigration policies, the focus must remain on keeping our neighborhoods safe and fostering cooperation between residents and local authorities.
It's a scary time, but in this particular case, don't think that crazy things are going to happen, you know. I mean, if they do, they do. But as of right now, our public safety officials are going to do everything they can to make sure that we're safe.